of it is a low clear.
All right.
And that first step's an inch off that block.
We'll be in here.
Hi. And if y'all would go to the...
Turn around, because I have a photo of that lady.
Perfect. All right, y'all want to go ahead and head to the back and start looking around. Stay back there because I'll start the tour back there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And come on up. And I'm going to get you to go to the kitchen sink there.
Three vents.
They're 5. They got bunk beds.
Alright, y'all want to head to the back and start looking around. We'll get 2 more people over with us. And we'll start in the back and work our way forward.
That might be the easiest to get in.
Alright, y'all head to the back. We'll start this one in the very back.
Proper bath. Don't touch things.
Don't touch anything.
Now this was the first official tour bus that Miss Dolly bought for herself in 1994. She paid $750,000 for this bus. Now she's very proud of it. So after 15 years of service, she did retire here to the park when her new bus was ready. That was in 2009. And they brought it through the gates and parked it here. The bus driver that was driving at the time, Don Morton, he did retire at that point. So she has left the settings there, or his setting, the seat up front, and nobody's allowed in the seat. She doesn't want anybody in the seat. So we've got it roped off, and she's got a little plaque there. But now everything she left behind on this bus, the clothes, the makeup, which is Max Factor, everything she left behind is her actual stuff so her fans could tour the bus. Now, the bus that replaced this one is a 2010 Prevost. She paid $2.7 million for it, but it is 8 feet longer and it has multiple slide outs, so it has a lot more room on it. Now, everything that you see, the clothes there, the one wig that she left behind is in the bedroom around the right-hand corner. I don't know if everybody got a chance to see it, and I'll get y'all back there to swap out here in just a second so y'all can see. Now her wig cabinet is actually the 3 sections of mirror open up. I did peek in there one night because I was just curious. There are 4 shelves, so a lot of wigs can be held in there. Now the 2 bathrooms here on the left, there is a door across here in the middle, so she could come to the back to get ready for a show. They still have a bathroom up front. Now the bathtub she did have put in special because she loves taking bubble baths. She does actually fit in there as well. Now her family, she'll tell you that she's 5 foot barefooted. Her family says she's either fibbing or in denial, one of the two, because she is only 4'10". So either way, she can be however tall she wants to be, but she does not go on stage until she is 5'7" between her hair and her heels. Yeah, I think that's a lot of hair and a lot of heels to make up. Now, I'll give y'all all a chance to swap out there, and then I'll tell you about the middle here in a second. I'll go ahead and tell you about Dolly's husband. Dolly's been married almost 52 years to Carl Dean. In May it'll be 52 years. Now he is retired now. He had an asphalt company. They have a small RV and they'll go on picnics or they'll travel. Now they do actually come here to Dollywood 2 or 3 times a year. They walk the streets of Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg. When she's with him, she says she's just plain old Dolly Dean. She doesn't wear her wigs. Her hair is a dark, almost a dark blonde or a light brown. She doesn't wear much makeup at all. An oversized sweatshirt or t-shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes. People do not recognize her till she opens her mouth. Of course, her voice is very distinctive. So I'd say when she's here, she points at a lot of stuff. So if you see a pretty petite little woman pointing at a lot of stuff, that might be her. Because we never know when she's here like that. I've never seen her myself, so I would love to. But that's a pretty interesting fact, I thought. But they have been married going on 52 years. Now the people she travels with, her band actually follows behind in their own bus that's painted identical to hers at the time. She actually has 2 buses for them now that they travel on, the crew and everybody. So they're on their own bus, but the one person who is always with her, if you saw the movie Coat of Many Colors, In that movie, the little girl that rescued Dolly when she was being bullied, that is Judy Ogle. That is still her very best friend to this day. And she does travel everywhere with Dolly. She is quite a bit taller than Dolly, so 20-something years ago, she got around easier. So with a step ladder, she could get in this top bunk okay. She doesn't get around as easily anymore, so she does have a small bedroom on the new bus, and I think they even put in a ramp or something accessible that if she's not feeling good, that they can get her on and off the bus easier. But she's still, everywhere Dolly stops, she gets off the bus. When Dolly's on stage, she's backstage waiting on her. She was her personal assistant for years. I just think that would be the greatest job in the world, to be with your best friend and get to travel like that. But this was her bunk up here in the top. Now the middle bunk here, this was Don Warden. He was the bus driver. He did retire when he parked the bus here in 2009. This was his last trip because his health was failing. He passed away last March, and Dolly was absolutely heartbroken. So I don't know if you saw the plaque outside and that star. She dedicated the bus to him, but she was just devastated. Now there's a picture of him and his wife Ann above his pillow in his bunk. Now he and Ann did the interior design on the bus, and Ann did a lot of the, she was an interior decorator, so she did a lot of the buildings in Dollywood when she partnered up and turned it into Dollywood in 1986, and when they started adding all the buildings here on Show Street, she did a lot of the design and stuff for the buildings. Now, if you saw the plaque out there, it says Mr. Everything. He was Mr. Everything. He didn't believe in banks, so the cash they made when they were on the road, he had a safe on board. He was very old-fashioned, and he'd keep the money on board the bus. I've looked, the money and the safe are not here anymore. I was curious. I would love to have seen that safe, so I don't know where he kept it, but another thing, he carried a gun on him when they were traveling. Of course, when they get to a show, they'd have more bodyguards and more security. But when they were just traveling every day, he was their protector and Dolly's bodyguard. And he's not very much bigger than Dolly. I'd say that's why that entrance is so Dolly size, because he was Dolly size as well. Poor Judy's tall, so she probably whacked her head every day. But now the only time they did take a second bus driver with them, they would sleep here in the bottom bunk, but that was on trips over 8 hours of total travel time. That was so they could relieve Dawn, but he was always lead driver as well as her manager. So I'll let y'all look at that and swap out back here. Now the woodwork you'll notice in the cabinetry is cherry wood throughout this entire bus. The sofas up here are handcrafted European leather, so you'll have to feel, the one on the right especially, the big couch, how soft it is. And then I'll let everybody swap out. And when you get to the front, I'll tell you about the kitchen area. So yeah, if you step there in the bathrooms too, so you could pass in the hall, thinking the chains give way, and you can say your hind end was the same place Dolly's was. Settled upon the leopard. That is very. That was a tight one. Just a tight one. Own carrying bag. List of stuff she wanted done to the bus, but because of not letting anybody sit there and not moving the bus, we have to find somebody to come in here because she's just not ready for somebody to move the bus out to get the repairs. But she loves pink, and she doesn't like the floor that we put in it, the brown, so she wants pink flooring. And it'll bake a casserole, a cake, a ham. No, I do not. I have an SUV. Not a bus. Definitely not a bus. But the cabinet underneath it, the little circle opens up. That is a double stovetop range. The dishwasher was under the sink. It pops out with a top-load little mini dishwasher. And then on the side over here, you have a trash compactor. And then the full-size fridge. Dolly had that put in so they could stock up on groceries so they wouldn't have to stop as often, because when she's doing her job, she's strictly business and she doesn't waste a whole lot of time. So that way they could keep moving. Now the china she used every single day. Now Dolly does do all the cooking and baking. She loves to cook and bake for other people, so much so that when they're touring heavily, they'll stay at state parks when it's not as busy through the week with the band. They'll have a fire and play music. She'll barbecue and cook for everybody. But her ulterior motive to that is she loves to eat. And she said that if somebody else cooked all the time, she'd be big as a house because she'd never know when to stop eating. And if she makes it, she knows what's in it and how much she can have and when she can have it. So she does do all the cooking. Now, Judy does the dishes for her because Dolly doesn't like doing dishes. Of course, I'd say with her nails, that's a little bit hard to do. That's a fair trade, I think. Don't you moms think so? Now, did anybody have any questions about the bust or about Dolly?
I want that. Then we heard it.